Hi, welcome to Making Social Media Accessible, a short guide designed for community groups who want to provide a smooth, engaging experience for their existing followers and reach the widest possible audience online. This video is not designed to be an in-depth training course. However, it will challenge your team's perspectives on accessible social media and give them practical tips and insights that can immediately be applied to make your social media communications more accessible. Let's begin with a quick definition. Web accessibility refers to the design of websites, digital platforms, applications and tools that can be used by everyone, regardless of disability, health condition, or situational impairment.
Think about accessibility as showing everyone the same level of care and giving them equal opportunities, irrespective of ability or background. You might think poor accessibility in digital spaces only affects a small number of people, but actually, over 35% of the population directly benefits from accessible communications. That includes people with hearing or visual impairments, cognitive or learning disabilities, older adults, or anyone affected by temporary or situational challenges, such as trying to listen to a virtual conference on a noisy train. Your social media pages are often a person's first introduction to your organization or brand. If your posts are not accessible, you could unintentionally exclude people from connecting with you and engaging with your services.
Despite the urban myths you might have heard, accessibility does not need to be complicated, expensive, or time-consuming. With just a few tweaks to how you write your posts, share images, and create videos, you can ensure your key messages reach a wider audience. You will also be showing your organization truly embraces inclusion. Let's begin by talking about the 3 golden rules you need to live by when creating written content for your social media posts. Keep them short, clear, and simple.
Write in plain language. Avoid using jargon, acronyms, or technical terms unless you explain them. Structure your posts clearly by breaking long text into short paragraphs, using bullet points, sticking to one idea per paragraph. Avoid using all caps for emphasis or stylization. Screen readers can interpret this as shouting or spelling out each letter. Your message may even be entirely lost on some people. Limit emojis and emoticons, especially in the middle of sentences. If you use them, place them at the end. That way, people using screen readers will not become distracted by constant repetition of the same words, and those with cognitive disabilities will not have their concentration broken by excessive visuals.
Language matters. Use person-first language. For example, say, people with hearing or sight loss, rather than the deaf or blind. Avoid gendered phrases unless necessary. Stick to neutral pronouns such as they or them unless you know someone's preferences. Avoid using ableist phrases like normal. This can unintentionally imply that others are abnormal or somehow of lesser value. Think of accessibility as more than a few technical features you need to fix. The human and social aspects should always be uppermost in your mind. Ask yourself, how can we make everyone feel welcome and included in what we are sharing?
Now let us move on to the visual design of your social media posts. Maintain strong contrast between your text and background. WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, recommend using a contrast ratio of at least 4.5.1 for body text. Avoid using red, green, and blue-purple combinations. These are the most difficult for people with colour blindness to distinguish. Choose clear, simple fonts like Arial or Calibri. Avoid decorative and cursive fonts. They may look very eye-catching, but they can prove difficult to read for people with dyslexia or other cognitive disabilities and people using screen readers. Keep your font size at 12 points or higher whenever possible, as recommended by WCAG 2.2.
When sharing links in the body of your posts, use descriptive labels to provide readers with as much useful information about your link as you can. Say, read our accessible ebook, rather than click here. Avoid long URLs, which can be a source of distraction. Use a URL shortener like bit.ly. Never rely solely on symbols like equals or greater than to communicate meaning. Screen readers often misunderstand these or miss them altogether. When using lists to share information, begin with a colon and keep items brief. Bulleted or numbered lists make content easier to scan and absorb.
Images can be a powerful way to attract and retain your audience's attention, but they need to be accessible as well as pleasing to the eye. Always add alternative text, alt text, when posting an image. This is a short description that tells someone using assistive technology what's in the picture. Good alt text is clear but concise, describes any text that is in the image, includes context such as emotions or humor if they are an important part of the message. Example, a woman in a yellow dress holding an assistance dog's harness in her left hand. She is smiling, and the words, "Making accessibility happen," are above her in bold text. If you use images with text, make sure the text is large enough to be easily read, uses a plain font, and clearly contrasts against the background. Avoid GIFs if possible. They can cause seizures and don't work well with screen readers. If you do use them, make sure they don't flash more than 3 times per second, and ensure they are accompanied by clear alt text descriptions.
We are visual creatures, and video is one of the most engaging ways to get your messages across. But it often excludes people when not done with an accessibility-first approach. To make videos more accessible, always include captions. Preferably closed captions that include not just speech but sound cues, like doorbell rings. Use the description field to provide an alt text summary or context for the video. Provide audio descriptions if possible, especially if visuals carry important meaning. Never embed text that obscures faces or key visual content. Choose a video player that supports accessibility features. YouTube, for example, allows you to toggle captions on and off, has keyboard controls, and clear buttons. It's worth noting, YouTube also auto-generates captions, but you should always check for accuracy. It does make mistakes.
Hashtags help people find your content, but they must be accessible. Use camel case, capitalize the first letter of each word. For example, hashtag workplace inclusion. Screen readers can't detect separate words in a lowercase hashtag, and they're harder to read for people with dyslexia or cognitive disabilities. Keep hashtags short and relevant. Place hashtags at the end of your post, not in the middle. Limit yourself to 2 to 3 per post for readability.
AI tools are a great way to improve accessibility for both your audience and you as a content creator. But remember, they should assist you, not replace your input and judgment. This is the only way to ensure your content is accurate, inclusive, respectful, and truly accessible. Here are some ways you can harness the potential of AI. Generate alt text. AI can draft image descriptions, useful when you're short on time or unsure what to write, but always review for accuracy and context. Summarize and simplify your posts. Support neurodivergent users and those with visual impairments by using AI to summarize posts, explain jargon, or shift tone. Again, check the results carefully for inaccuracies. Create captions and subtitles. Auto-generate captions, subtitles, or even full transcripts for your videos to support people with hearing loss or anyone who prefers to process information in a written format. As always, remember to review for clarity and tone. Understand your audience better. AI can analyze your followers' behavior, what sort of posts they like, when they engage, and how they engage. This will help you time post and tailor content more effectively.
This was a brief introduction to making your social media content accessible. The idea was to show you don't need to be an expert to ensure everyone has a smooth, enjoyable experience when visiting your social media channels. Just being aware and making thoughtful choices makes a huge difference. To learn more, check out the links in the transcript of this recording to find more tips. Adopting an accessibility-first approach, we can make our digital communities inclusive, welcoming spaces for everyone. If you would like bespoke support, you can contact Support Cambridgeshire or Passion for Social for further training or advice.